Ciao, amici, buoni. It's Pamela, and I am back with a Q&A video. I got a bunch of questions on Facebook from various friends and acquaintances that wanted to know about my vegan lifestyle, so I'm going to share that with you today. So let's get right into the Q&A. I haven't done a Q&A before, so bear with me. I've got notes here that I'm going to refer to, and hopefully I can get all these questions answered in a thorough manner. So I'm going to start off with a question from my friend Abigail. Abigail asks me, what are good sources of kid-friendly vegan recipes? So this is a great question, and I don't have kids myself, so I've never actually looked into this until I was doing research for this episode. So Abigail and whoever else is interested in kid-friendly vegan recipes, I have lots of sources for you. These are all recommendations from other people that I know, either in real life or on Facebook. I reached out to these friends. They have vegan children or are involved with Facebook groups that are aimed towards vegan kids. So these are the suggestions that they gave me. And I did research these. They look great, so I'm going to recommend them to you. So the first one is a blog called veganlunchbox.com. This blog was written, I think, back like in the, 2008 to 2012 timeframe. They haven't updated it since then, but the blog is still there. You can still see the recipes, you can still see the blog entries, and you can see the books that they sell on their blog. And these books are also available on Amazon. They are cookbooks and they're aimed towards kids. So veganlunchbox.com is the website. And then the books that they have are Vegan Lunchbox is their first cookbook. And then they did a sequel cookbook called Vegan Lunchbox Around the World. So obviously you get a little international flair with the second one. And I think that's just a great idea for kids because I think we would all do better to have more of a global view of the world and bringing sort of international recipes to your kids, but making it fun, making it kid-friendly. I think that's a great idea. So those are the first two, the blog and the books. So next, my friend Jen from Facebook recommended a group called What Vegan Children Eat. And as it turns out, I have kind of a funny story about this. The guy who founded that group is a longtime vegan. He is a personal chef out in San Francisco. And I know this guy, and I didn't even know that he had founded this group. Again, I don't have kids, so I wasn't going looking for these groups on Facebook. But he has been a good friend of mine for years and years. I met him through swing dancing, and he is a great swing dancer. He's a DJ and a vegan, and he's a personal chef. And I've actually had him make meals for my family and I when I've been out in California. And he's just wonderful. He's a wonderful person. He's a great chef. So he runs this group called What Vegan Children Eat. I think if you go to that group, there is a sister group which has different privacy settings. It'll mention it if you go to the What Vegan Children Eat group. There's another group that's like more private if you want to, have more private discussions or something. I forgot the name of the second group, but it's right there. If you go to the first group, it'll be right there as a recommendation. So that's the third one. Check out that group on Facebook. And next, my friend Christy made this suggestion. So it's not a cookbook or anything, but she suggested that you take a cookie cutter and you cut up tofu and then fry it in fun shapes for kids. And she does that with her kids. And I thought that was so creative and just a really great idea for getting kids used to eating tofu in a fun way. Christy also recommended a blog called Glue and Glitter. There is a blog entry on that website, and it's a week of vegan lunches for kids. So I'm going to link you to that. I'm going to actually link you to everything. When I post this video, I'm going to link you to all of the things that I'm talking about today. I looked at it, and I have to say it wasn't really that inspiring to me. And she even says in her blog post about these vegan lunches for kids that they're just like really simple. She didn't go through a lot of trouble to make them fun or interesting or anything. And it kind of shows on the blog. I mean, I'm not trying to like disparage someone's blog or anything, but I think out of the choices that are there are better choices if you're looking to make vegan food fun for kids. If you're just looking for ideas to throw a quick lunch together, I think that's a great resource. The next suggestion I got is a website that I've known about for quite a long time, and I kind of forgot about it because I found out about it when I first went vegan, which was 11 years ago. So it's been a while since I've looked at this website, but it's called Plant Powered Kitchen. And it's by Drina Burton. Now, Drina Burton is a very well-known, at least in the vegan community, she's a very well-known cookbook author and just personality. She has a bunch of cookbooks out that she's co-written with other people, that she's written on her own. So Plant Powered Kitchen is a good general resource, but she also has a cookbook called Plant Powered Family. And again, it's aimed at making vegan cooking and vegan recipes easy for your family and fun for the kids. So check out that too. Okay, and the last suggestion I have for vegan kids is, I'm gonna have to read this because it's a long title. Forks Over Knives Family, Every Parent's Guide to Raising Healthy, Happy Kids on a Whole Foods, Plant-Based Diet. Long title. But I'm sure that everyone's heard of the movie Forks Over Knives. I know Forks Over Knives is a very well-respected documentary about our health, human health, and how disease relates to our eating habits. But they came out with this cookbook, again, for families to make healthy eating easy and fun for your family and for your kids. So definitely check that out. That's the last option there. So Abigail, you have 6 options here. I hope that one of these serves you well. I think that you'll find plenty here for your kids. I don't know how old they are, but there's a variety of resources that I've just named, so hopefully one of those will be good. And personally, I love the Vegan Lunchbox site. Even though it hasn't been updated lately, I think there's still a lot of great information on there, and they just look really fun for kids, so check that out. Okay, the next question is from Craig, and Craig asked me, what is a good cookbook to pick up if you are not necessarily vegan, but you want to add vegan meals to your meal planning for your family or for yourself? So Craig, great question. I will just say, like, outright, I don't follow a lot of recipes actually. I tend to make a lot of salads with a lot of healthy ingredients in them. I saute a lot of things. I love sauteed greens. So I keep it really simple. That's just the way I prefer because I don't really have a lot of time for cooking, but I definitely recommend a few cookbooks that I have, that I love, that I have used, so I know what's in them and I know that the recipes you'll get are really good. The first one is Cornelia Guest's Simple Pleasures. Cornelia Guest is really interesting. She is like a fashion designer and socialite, and she used to go to, I think, Studio 54 in New York City, when it was like when Andy Warhol would go there and just like that whole crowd. She was part of that movement. I don't even know what the movement is called, but she was part of that social scene in New York City. Over time, she learned about factory farming and she learned about dairy and eggs and all that stuff. And so she became vegan. She actually offers a line of vegan handbags, which I absolutely love. I don't own one yet, but I will. And she wrote this cookbook, and she's all big into entertaining. She's like a vegan Martha Stewart. No, really, that's kind of how I look at her, because she's very old school, entertaining, doing things, you know, in a very fancy kind of way, but it's all going to be vegan. And so, yeah, this is her cookbook. I would recommend it. And it also has tips about entertaining. So it's called Cornelia Guest's Simple Pleasures, Healthy Seasonal Cooking and Easy Entertaining. So there's number 1. Okay, the next cookbook that I recommend for you is going to be the Non-Dairy Evolution Cookbook. And this is by Sky Michael Conroy. He is a pretty well-known vegan chef, and he has specialized in creating non-dairy versions of cheese and faux meats, and really just taking the non-dairy versions of these foods to the next level. He is a gourmet chef. I belong to 1 or 2 of his Facebook groups, and I see the posts that people make all the time of things that they've made from this cookbook, and they look amazing. And across the board, the reception to this cookbook has been really excellent. So I suggest that if you're into cheese, if you're into some dairy foods, but you're trying to find vegan versions of those and make them at home, definitely try this. The Non-Dairy Evolution Cookbook. So last but not least, this is going to be all about vegan baking. So we're getting away from the entrees and the cheeses, and I'm going to give you a cookbook that I use for baking. It's called The Joy of Vegan Baking, and as you can see from my bookmarks in here, and the pages are kind of bent up, I have used this one quite a bit. I like my sweets. So I've made apple cake from here, I've made cookies from here, I have made different cakes from here, pies. I forget which pies that I've made out of here off the top of my head, but yes, I've used this one. I use it at holiday times when my family wants some sweets and they know I don't eat dairy or eggs, so they have me make all these sweets for the holidays. So I definitely recommend this baking cookbook. It's by Colleen Patrick Goudreau, and she is based out of California as well, and she travels all over. She gives talks, She does book signings, she has a podcast and a website and YouTube and everything. She's like all over the place. And she has developed her recipes over many years of doing this, so I definitely recommend trying her recipes out. I love this cookbook. If you're interested in adding some vegan desserts to your meal planning, definitely check this one out. The Joy of Vegan Baking by Colleen Patrick Goudreau. And let me just say here, if you guys can hear some weed whacking going on in the background, I apologize. It is going on today outside my window, outside my front door, which is that way. So I'm hoping that the microphone is not picking up too much of that, but it might be. So you may have some unwanted noise in the background of this video. Such is life. We go on anyway. Next question is from Annie, and she asks, what good vegan supplements are there for adults? Okay, so just like with the cookbooks, I actually don't take a lot of supplements, and the only one that I really take regularly is B12. That is recommended not just for vegans, it's actually recommended for non-vegans as well. So I do take a B complex, and my favorite one, which I'm out of right now, or I would show it to you, is Vitamin Code's Raw B Complex. The reason I like that one is because Vitamin Code has really high quality standards. They make their supplements out of raw foods, so you're getting actually a whole food supplement when you take those. It's also a B complex, so you're getting B12, but other B vitamins and minerals as well that support the absorption of B12. And it's just like very easy to take. I never have any stomach issues when I take that, like I have sometimes when I take other supplements. So Vitamin Code, I'll put a link to it just like with everything else, and if I can find a picture of it, I'll put it in the corner somewhere, maybe over here, so you can see what it looks like. But that's my favorite, Vitamin Code Raw B Complex. Now, while I am out of that, I did pick up, it was on sale, I'll show you just really quickly. It's Blue Bonnet B Complex. Don't know if you can, I'll let the camera autofocus on it for a minute. So the brand is Blue Bonnet, and it's just B Complex 50, 50 vegetable capsules. So these are also vegan friendly. It is cyanocobalamin, which I think is also in Vitamin Code. And you want to be careful when you're taking B12. You want to take it as cyanocobalamin versus methylcobalamin. I think that's the other one. Methylcobalamin is the other one. So there's the two forms of B12. Cyanocobalamin is more readily absorbed by your body. Methylcobalamin is okay too. It's better than not taking B12 at all, but the cyanocobalamin is more readily absorbed, so it's just better to do that. And this is a high potency B complex, easy to swallow capsule dietary supplement. So I do like this. I just like the idea of a raw food, whole food supplement with Vitamin Code, as opposed to kind of your more typical capsule, but there's nothing wrong with this. It's just a matter of personal preference, and frankly, this is less expensive. So if you're on a budget, this is going to give you the B12 and B complex that you need, and it's going to be less expensive than Vitamin Code. Sorry, Vitamin Code, but you are kind of pricey. So the other thing that I take occasionally is Gentle Iron, and let me see, it's by Solgar. So this is Gentle Iron, which means you can take it without getting a stomach ache. I've taken some iron supplements in the past that have really just made my stomach hurt, and iron is known actually to do that to your stomach. So this form of iron you can take and you won't get any stomach issues at all. I really don't take it that often because my diet is very rich in iron anyway. I eat a lot of dark leafy greens, I eat seeds, I eat nuts, I eat all the foods that have iron in them, and I haven't had a problem. But these are good. They're vegetable capsules. This is a 90 capsule bottle, and it's 25 milligrams. So I would recommend this, you know, if you're looking for an iron supplement. I got it a long time ago, so I don't remember how much it is, but I think iron in general is not going to be too hard on your wallet. And actually, I have a little bit of a story to go along with that. When I was not yet vegan, I was vegetarian, I went to get my blood work done, and I was almost anemic in iron. So this is going back a long time. Since I have been vegan and paying attention to, you know, eating the foods that I need to be eating, and nutritious foods, plant-based foods, whole foods, the last time I had a blood panel done was last year, I think it was, and everything was great. My iron levels were great. They checked thyroid and stuff like that. Everything looked really good, and the doctor was very pleased that I was in such good health, at least according to my blood panel. So just a little anecdote for you that you can be iron deficient whether you are vegan or not vegan, so you need to be careful about those things. So one more recommendation that I have for a multivitamin is Diva multivitamins. I'm going to read this because, again, another long title. These people love to torture me with their long titles. Okay, Diva Vegan Vitamins, Tiny Tab Multivitamin and Mineral Supplement. So I do not own this. I generally don't take a multivitamin, but Diva has a very good reputation. So I definitely recommend them. They make all vegan supplements. This Tiny Tab multivitamin and mineral supplement I've found that it's gotten very good ratings. So I would recommend that. It's also very cost effective. You can get a 180-day supply on Amazon for just over $13. So I think that is really cost effective. I'll link to that as well so you can find it on Amazon. Yeah, so those are my recommendations for vitamin supplements and minerals and B12 and all that good stuff. The next question, we're going to get a little heavy with this, so bear with me. It's from my friend Matt. Matt asked, how can non-vegans be more empathetic and non-assholey to their vegan friends? And I just have to preface this because I know Matt. I also know him through swing dancing. I have known Matt, it seems like forever. Matt could not be an asshole if he tried. Matt has never been an asshole to me. On the contrary, I've actually been an asshole a couple times to Matt in the past. Thankfully, in the distant past. But when I was a younger, more selfish person in my life, you know, I did some asshole things where Matt was concerned. And he still loves me. He's still my friend. That's the kind of guy he is. So I think for him to ask this, I'm so grateful for the question. And I will definitely answer your question. But I think if anyone needs to be asking this, it's not Matt. But here's my answer. I thought a lot about this last night and I got like really emotional, so I'm gonna try not to get emotional here. But I think the number one way that you can be more empathetic and understanding of your non-vegan friends is to understand more about why we do what we do. I mean, it sounds very simple, but when I say that, I mean, maybe go online and research veganism, research not only what happens in the industries that we are opposed to, but also research the philosophy behind veganism. And I think a lot of people do not do that. They think that vegans are mostly just against eating certain types of foods, which is true, but there's a lot more to it. There are schools of thought behind veganism. This isn't just kind of a random social movement that popped up yesterday. This is a movement that's been around for a long time. And as such, it has developed, and schools of thought have also developed along with the movement as time has gone on. And I subscribe to a very specific school of thought when it comes to veganism. I don't want to get into that in this video. I think it's off topic. I'd be happy to talk about it in another episode if you guys want. But I think understanding that, I'm gonna start like, gonna try not to cry, but here's my personal experience with it. I love animals so much, and I love this planet so much. When I go outside and I see animals, and I feel this instant love for them and for the natural world. And it hurts my soul to know that we are killing so many animals when it's not necessary. And even by accident, just seeing animals that are hit on the side of the road that have died because they were hit by a car or something. I think people like me tend to see those messages in the world and research those things. And we have decided to follow this way of life that often loses us friends and often makes us the butt of jokes and harassment. And I'm not alone in this. I'm not claiming to be some victim. Being vegan is not about me. It's about what I want to give to the world and what I want to do for animals. But at the same time, it is a lifestyle choice that kind of makes us unpopular sometimes. So I think if you want to be more empathetic and non-assholey to your vegan friends, then really consider and maybe do some research about why we are the way we are. why we care so much, and what's happening in the world to drive us to make this decision. It's a very considered decision. It really is. And it's not just some off-the-cuff fad that I'm going to grow out of. I've been vegan for 11 years. Obviously, I'm not going to grow out of it. If you're interested in actually how I made the decision to go vegan, I've made a video about that, and I'll link to it. But I'm so grateful for that question, Matt, because I know you, and I know how much you love your friends, and I know what a good friend you are, and I just wish that the rest of the world would be like more like you. But for anyone else who's concerned about this, that's the best answer I can give right now, is just to say, do a little research, find out about this. Don't just make judgments like, oh, we're trying to be better than everybody else, or, you know, we think we're healthier. I mean, vegan diets are very healthy, but I know a lot of very healthy people who are not vegan. So I don't ever try and get down anyone's throat about the health aspect. For me, it's an ethical decision, and the health benefits are a great bonus. But just find out about the ethics, find out about the schools of thought, and understand that most of us do this out of a profound sense of love. And that's the greatest gift that we can give to the world. So just understand that, and I think you'll be well on your way to being more empathetic to vegans. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say on that subject. Fuck. Okay, whew, well, that was heavy, and let's get back to the lighter stuff. So thank you, Matt, again for that question, and I hope that helped. I was just kind of pouring my heart out, so I don't know if that made any sense or not, but that's how I feel. So the last question I got is from my friend LD, and LD is very active. She's into fitness, and she wanted to know if I recommend any vegan brands for athletes, like vegan clothing, sneakers, energy bars, stuff like that. So I made a whole list. Again, I'm going to have to kind of read from my list because there's a lot here. But LD, great question, and I actually found out about some brands that I didn't know about before when I was doing research for this, so I will just go through them. So as far as energy bars go and nutrition bars, I recommend Cliff Bar. I think everybody knows who Cliff Bar is. They make a protein version of their bar. They also just make a regular kind of crunchy version of their bar. Both are vegan. Cliff makes all vegan bars as far as I know. I think they're really delicious. I mean, nutrition bars aren't my favorite food, but I do keep them around when I'm working out or as a snack if I know I'm not going to be able to have a meal anytime soon. So Cliff Bars are my go-to. Now, this is one I've never heard of. BHU makes something called vegan protein bar. Pretty straightforward. I have not personally had that, but I looked online for reviews, and it's gotten some good reviews, and it looks like it's, you know, a very healthy bar, so check that out. There's also Pro Bar, Probar, and that actually I have had a long time ago. I don't generally eat Pro Bar because it is meant as a meal replacement. It's not just a supplement. It's actually meant to be a whole meal for you. And I like to get my meals in whole food form. You know, I like to have whole foods for my meals, generally speaking. Now, I would have this again if, I don't know, if I was going on a road trip or traveling or something. I would definitely bring a Pro Bar with me. They're vegan. They've got protein, everything, but they're higher calorie. I guess that's my point, is they're higher calorie because they are meant to be a whole meal and not just a supplement or a snack. A couple more bars that I found out about, Simply Protein Bar and the Go Macro Bar, and something called, let's see, Organic Food Bar Protein. I think that's actually from Go Macro. I'm going to put the links to all these bars down below, and you can go check them out on Amazon. So there's about 5 or 6 recommendations right there for protein and energy bars that you can have while you are working out. And I have had a few of them, and I think you could not go wrong with any of these. Just be careful about Pro Bar because the calories are high. It's a meal, not just a snack. Okay, so moving on to vegan running shoes. There are so many options out there. I own actually a pair of, I'll show you, these are Asics Gel, I forget exactly, GT2170. So Asics Gels running shoes. I got them last year, so they're, you know, they're kind of used, but they've held up very well. I had another pair of Asics before these that I still have around just like for running errands and stuff, but these are the newer version of that shoe, and they've held up very well. They're all vegan, ASICS is not an entirely vegan company, but they do have a lot of vegan options. So there's this running shoe that I have. I love it. Some other options for you are, I know that Mizuno, Brooks, and Newton, and I think New Balance are all vegan companies. They only make vegan athletic shoes. And I'm pretty sure New Balance is all vegan as well. Now, I have had New Balance shoes in the past, and I like them okay for walking. And they were running shoes, but I didn't find them as good for running. They weren't as comfortable to me as my ASICS are. So I didn't continue buying New Balance, but I think for walking, or just some lighter activities, they're great. But I actually, in doing some research for this episode, I found a blog post from very recently, I think it was from June, where this blogger reviews the top 10 vegan athletic shoes. So I'm going to link you to the post on his blog. And he mentioned Mizuno, he mentioned Brooks. Let me see, the actual shoe he mentioned, his top 3 were Brooks Beast 14, a Brooks Glycerin 14, and the Newton Gravity 4. So those are his top 3. The Newton Gravity is a more streamlined shoe. The other Brooks shoes are more your traditional running shoe that look like my ASICS shoe. He gives his reasons for why he rates them the top 3, and I think he reviews 10 shoes, so these are the top 3 out of the 10 that he reviewed. He gives the pros, the cons, what he likes about them. But you should actually check that post out to see what else he recommends, because there are a lot of good shoes on there. Now, another site that I found that I wasn't aware of before I started researching this episode it's called Strike Movement. Strike-movement. But movement is spelled kind of funky on their website. So just look in the description, you'll see the link to their website, and they have some vegan athletic shoes on there as well. And they look like they're kind of more expensive, more higher end specialty shoes. But if you're into that and you're looking for something different, check out Strike Movement. And lastly, when I was researching different vegan shoes, I found a site called vegankicks.com, and they review all vegan shoes. Now, they're not going to review only athletic shoes, but they do have some on there. And I think that's how I found the Strike Movement shoe. So check out vegankicks.com for just shoe recommendations in general, but they'll have some athletic ones on there as well that they review and they recommend. So those are my recommendations for shoes, for energy bars. For clothing, it's hard to recommend specific brands because most athletic clothing is not going to be made with animal products. They're going to be made out of nylon or sometimes polyester, polypropylene, cotton, those kinds of fabrics that are not animal derived, but they are performance fabrics that wick sweat away and, keep you warm, whatever. So I think to try and name some brands, I own some Nike shorts, I own Lululemon thing, yoga pants, stuff like that, but you really can't go wrong. There are options. You could go to Target and pick up a pair of yoga pants for $10, $15, or you could go to Lululemon and drop $90. So it's really up to your budget and what you want to spend and how you want to look and if you want a certain brand. But I'm going to actually kind of stay away from recommending any clothing brands because I don't stick to just one clothing brand when it comes to athletic clothes. I get what I like, I get what's on sale sometimes, and that's kind of how I approach it. And almost any option that you're going to have is going to be vegan. So good luck with the clothing and the shoes. I think you've got a lot of options here, and I hope that helps. Okay, so this has been a long episode. If you've watched up till now, then you are really dedicated, and I thank you so much for watching this episode Q&A. This is my first ever Q&A. Thank you guys so much for your questions, and if anyone has more questions, just put them in the comments. Contact me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is @calltimeatlanta, and you can contact me there, on Facebook, just any number of ways to contact me with your questions. Thanks again, guys. I hope this has helped. I love you very much, and I will see you next episode. Bye-bye. Mwah.